4 vehicles that were operative. 11 vehicles on record were in the workshop and not in operative condition. So based on the physical data that was available, some data collection we also helped them to do. And finally then a note was again put up to the state government, on the basis of which, because the note was supported by facts and data that could be verified, on the basis of that they actually got a soft loan of about 2 crores to purchase more vehicles. After that, actually that is not the end of the problem, that's the beginning of the problem. Now you've got 2 crores to buy vehicles, so you have to buy vehicles, you have to get them fabricated, you have to recruit drivers to run the vehicles, and who will you recruit as drivers? Whether it is this party or that party, and this party is going to raise problems, too many people from that side are being recruited. That was actually the start of the problem. We thought when the loan is sanctioned, the problem is over, but we realized that the problem started after that. And then after that, to introduce a GIS system and to see how the vehicle is moving, how much it is covering, how many tons of garbage it is carrying, all those kinds of issues were to come much later. In terms of the complaint management system now, like a typical small town, anybody who knows anybody will pick up the phone and call him. So anybody who knows the municipal commissioner will call up with a complaint, pani nahi aa raha hai, or garbage is a problem. They'll call up. If somebody knows the municipal commissioner, he'll call them up. Somebody knows the assistant commissioner, he'll call them up. There is no regular system of receiving complaints. So if nobody knows anybody, then you cannot make a complaint. Also in a town like Shimla, the municipal corporation's office is a heritage building, and it's situated on Scandal Point, which is one of the best tourist points. So anybody who wants to take an afternoon walk on the mall, he'll walk into the municipal commissioner's office and lodge a complaint. There's a problem. So people keep their complaints that when we walk to the mall, that time we'll lodge the complaint. So it's just indicating that there is no systematic way of receiving complaints. And the grievance receipts registers, we actually saw the water complaint registers, they were outdated. About 25 years old, format was still being used. They were using the format that was relevant when people were physically coming to deliver complaints. Now complaints are being taken on phone. Water complaints are also being taken on phone. But the register had a column, Shikayat Karta ke Hastakshar, which meant that the complaint is physically coming, handing over and signing the register. So these kinds of things have been going on for 15, 20 years. Now, what will huge ICT systems do in it? Or for that matter, what capacity building is required to be done for this? That you carry on registers where you have 3 columns which are left blank because they are not relevant. And the relevant information of what is the complainant's contact number, so if the complaint is redressed, can we get back to them? Those kinds of things are not recorded because there's no column heading for that. So if you look at it, it's a very silly thing that you just need to change the format of your register to be able to have the correct data available to be able to redress complaints. In terms of classification and prioritization of complaints, what is important, what is not important, what should be done in 24 hours. For example, if a gutter is blocked, sewage line is blocked, it's an urgency situation. It needs priority compared to some other smaller problem of a leakage somewhere or the other. But then prioritization, as we all know in this country, prioritization happens not on the basis of the seriousness of the complaint, but as to who has lodged the complaint or through whom the complaint has come. If it has come through a municipal councillor, then obviously it is more important. If it has come directly, then obviously it's less important. So those are the kind of issues that they struggle with at the ground level. Those are the kind of things that are going to pain the citizens. If ICT can find us a solution for that, we'll be very happy. Time norms for grievance redress. Whether there is a standardized time norm, every water supply related complaint gets addressed in 24 hours or 48 hours, they were not able to say. In fact, in a workshop with about 20-25 people, including municipal councillors and officers from the municipal corporation, when we tried to collect data, what is the average time for redressal of a water supply complaint, you might find it intriguing that the range we got was, it ranges from 24 hours to 7 days. And nobody was able to say what is the actual time or average time that is being taken. Somebody said kabhi-kabhi 7 din bhi lagte hain. Now, probably that is the reality, that sometimes if it is a more difficult situation, it is difficult to identify where the leakage is or where the pipes have burst, then probably it takes much more time. You have to dig in 3 places to find out where the problem is. But they were not at all in a position to be able to say that we can address 100% of our complaints within 7 days. Even 7 days, they were not in a position to commit. So gradually helping them to understand that you must commit something, even if you don't say 100%, at least 80%, at least 90%, 70%, whatever you want to commit, that you should start committing so that your mind starts getting focused that something needs to be measured. You cannot continue with the situation forever when you say ki it can be addressed in 7 days, it may not be addressed in 7 days. You have to say what percentage is going to get addressed in whatever time frame you want to prescribe for that. For that matter, this Segotam model doesn't tell you what should be the time frame. It just tells you that the time frame, whatever the time frame is, it should be made public. So once it is made public, then we are in a way empowering the citizen to at least have that knowledge as to what the entitlements are and what can they demand and from whom they can demand. In terms of the achievements, now as Mr. Manishman said, there are lessons to be learned from successes and failures. Some of the things worked out, some of the things did not work out during the currency of the project and probably matured a little later. The kind of things that we were able to do was identification of 16 services, that is water supply hours, garbage collection frequency, emptying of dumpers. Those kinds of about 16 services were listed and they were put up. Standards were agreed on that with the commissioner, with the municipal councillors, and a final decision was taken that they will start displaying those standards in the ward offices. Now, whether they are meeting 10%, 20%, 30% over a period of time, data will start getting collected, and then we should be able to gradually increase the percentage of meeting those standards. Analysis of gaps in the areas of complaint management as to ad hoc. The methodology for lodging complaints was ad hoc, making it more systematic by providing a centralized call center number through which people can lodge their complaints, and the system could receive the complaint and send an SMS on mobile to the Jamadar or the junior engineer who is actually on the field and who's going to redress. So this fellow doesn't have to come back to office, get a list of the complaints and then go next day. Wherever he is in the field, from there only he can directly go to the site and address the complaints. Some of the infrastructure related issues that could be sorted out during the project were setting up of this call center, increasing the number of vehicles for garbage disposal. Then water billing and collection, as in fact I had mentioned in my question also, that we talk about capacity building and we talk about smart solutions, data security and such sophisticated things. But if you look at the ground realities, then we are still struggling with the bug-free water billing systems, which is not an issue at all, which is available. But then in those places, people just don't know how to go about it. They had a vendor who was coming every 2 months, charging them 20,000-30,000 rupees, and then saying that your requirements are not complete, you have to come back. No, I'm not saying that it is this side fault or that side fault, but the end story is that after 2.5 years, 3 years, they're still struggling to have a bug-free software to churn out bills every 6 months, or 3 months was the target. They were not able to do it even in 6 months. And some improvement in the review and monitoring practices to replace. They were very proud of saying कि अंग्रेजों के ज़माने से चला रहा है, अंग्रेजों के ज़माने से कुछ अच्छी चीज़ें चली आ रही हैं, but some of these things have become outdated and new technologies have come which help to deliver better services. Now, a couple of things on how the Sevottam model, which Mr. Manish Mohan has also mentioned and which we had used as the guideline. In fact, if you want to know more about Sevottam, you can just Google Sevottam. There's a lot of information on Sevottam available because the Administrative Reforms Commission has now mandated it for implementation in all central government ministries and also recommended to the state governments for initiating implementation. Now, how is the Sevottam? How the Sevottam is a standard for quality management systems. So how do you manage quality of service deliveries is what Sevottam says. The standards of service delivery are the sectoral standards. So for example, the sectoral standard for water supply is 24/7. If you look at the Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India, sectoral standards, benchmarks, 24/7 pressurized water supply is the norm. That is what you should have. But in Shimla, 24/7 pressurized water supply is quite a far cry. I mean, if today we were to say that we want to achieve that, I'm not very sure what timeline we would say for ourselves. A drastic increase in the availability of water, it requires huge investments. They have to develop water sources, they have to develop methods to transport the water from the source to households, laying down pipelines, etc. Now, what the Sevottam system would say that whatever is your current water supply, whether it is half an hour, whether it is 1 hour, whether it is alternate days, whether it is 15 days, whatever is, it should be public knowledge and it should be publicly declared and you should stick to it. The philosophy behind or the thinking behind this is that you need to declare your service standards. Once you declare your service standards, then there is pressure on you to, because publicly it is very difficult to acknowledge that we can give water only for half an hour in alternate days. Then what are we doing? So whether it is 1 hour, whether it is half an hour, it should be publicly declared, and that gradually that half an hour or 1 hour should be brought to a sane window. Because at that point in time, they were saying that that half an hour could be any time of the day or night. It could even be 2:30 in the morning when half an hour water will come from 2:30 to 3. So previous information on what time water will be available, even that would be a help to citizens, because suddenly if water comes at 2:30, you're not prepared to collect or fill in the water, then you cannot use the water. So the Sevottam quality management system prescribes that whatever are the standards, whatever is going to be done, that should be publicly made available and prior information should be available to the citizens so they can take advantage of whatever is there. Whether it is half an hour or 1 hour, you can at least use it. But if it is not known, then you cannot use that window also. So it is not, Shivottam is not saying that you should have 24/7 supply or you should have 2 hours or 3